In this video, you will learn to cut the front and back pieces of an A-line frock. To learn how to make the pattern, watch the previous video. To cut the fabric, you will need your pattern, fabric in 2 different colors, some pins, some chalk, a pair of scissors, and a ruler. Open out a sheet of fabric and fold it in half along the length. The first step is to mark the outline of the pattern on the fabric. Now, make a fold splitting the length of the folded piece as shown so that you have 4 layers of fabric. Place the pattern on the fabric so that their folds are aligned. Next, adjust the second fold so that the 4 overlapping layers accommodate the width of the pattern and not more. Secure the pattern in its position on the fabric by attaching pins at the points shown. Using a piece of chalk, start drawing the outline of the pattern on the fabric. Once you have traced the neckline of the back piece, lift the corner of the pattern as shown and mark a point on the fabric that corresponds to the front neckline. Don't forget the outline of the shoulder line. Once this is done, remove the pin holding the pattern down at the shoulder and complete the arc of the front neckline as shown. This technique allows the same pattern to be used to cut fabric for the front and the back of the garment. We shall now proceed to cut the fabric along the outline of the pattern. Start cutting from the hem at the bottom. Continue past the side seam and up the armhole, trailing off the top edge of the sheet. Remove the excess fabric. Now, cut along the back neckline as well as along the edge of the shoulder seam allowance. We shall now cut along the arcs representing the front neckline and armhole. To do this, remove the pin from below the armhole and fold the second and third layers of the fabric out of the way so that only the first and fourth layers will be cut. Cut these 2 layers of fabric along the front neckline. Now, draw the front armhole curve. If you need to, you may use the pattern for reference. Cut along the arc. Replace the back piece to its previous position. Now, fold the fabric along with the pattern at the end of the hemline and snip a piece off to make a notch. Make a second notch along the side seam line to mark the area along the armhole to which binding will be applied. Make a third notch half an inch into the armhole to mark the side seam allowance. Make a fourth notch to mark the shoulder seam allowance near the end of the armhole and a fifth notch half an inch into the shoulder to mark the armhole binding allowance. Make a final notch near the beginning of the neckline to mark the shoulder seam allowance. You may now remove the rest of the pins. Open the cut fabric and place the pattern on it to see if the shape and dimensions of the fabric are the same as the pattern. You have now learned to cut the fabric required for the front and back pieces of an A-line frock. To learn how to cut the facing for the A-line frock, watch the next video.